Hello guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. As always, I am so excited to have you guys here. And if you're new here, hello, welcome. My name's Claire. I'm a naturopathic doctor, and my goal for this channel is to really have you guys feel as empowered and educated when it comes to your health as possible. So if that is something you're interested in, definitely click the subscribe button. With that being said, let's get into the video. So I filmed this what I eat in a day at the end of March, and I woke up on this day with a little tickle in my throat. I could definitely feel like I was getting sick, and March was a huge month for me. I was definitely getting a lot busier at work. I had a lot of other things on the go, and while I love being busy, I love working on new projects, it can deplete you, and I just think that I wasn't as careful as I should have been in taking care of myself and really prioritizing rest. And usually when I get stressed and busy, the first thing that tends to go is my digestion and my immune system. So I want to take you guys through a day, show you how I recover and how I really get back on track. I started the day with a tea. I like to use one that has a lot of demulcent herbs, just some herbs that will help to coat and soothe the throat. And while I was letting my tea cool off, I did a little meditation and breath work. Especially when I'm sick, I find it really important to do my meditation and mindfulness practice. I know when we don't feel good physically, it's really hard to sit with ourselves and to sit with actual presence in our body. The first thing that we want to do is dissociate from our body, but it's actually really important to keep up those healthy practices. So I'll usually start my day with a guided meditation. I'll do a little bit of breath work, and then I'll usually just sit with my tea for a little bit and give my brain a break. I think that we have so much stimulation on a day-to-day basis. It's actually really important to just let ourselves sit alone with our thoughts for a little bit. I just find it very relaxing. So I just sipped my tea, and then I read my book for a little bit as well. I always get asked on here what books I'm reading and what books I recommend. Right now, I am still getting through The Big Leap. I am definitely loving it. It's about pushing yourself out of your comfort zone into your zone of genius. But I will put some of my main book recommendations, whether they be spiritual, self-development, mental health books, or health-related books. I will pop those all in the description box below. And when I talk about building a health toolkit with my patients, I always say that mindset work should be a part of that. I think that it's incredibly important for building resilience and improving your stress response. So just in the same way that we think diet, exercise, and sleep impact our health, so does our mindset. So that's just something I wanted to put out there. After I did a little bit of journaling, I did do a very gentle yoga flow. I don't like to do anything too intense exercise-wise when I'm sick, so I just wanted to get some blood flowing, to do some gentle stretching, and then after my yoga flow, I also went out for a short walk just to get some fresh air. I just like to keep my meals very basic. Of course, you can focus on getting specific nutrients like vitamin C and zinc that are very important for the immune system. But I just find sticking to my basic nutrient-dense meals is a great place to start. This is a breakfast that I have been absolutely loving lately because it is so quick and easy to put together. But just before my breakfast, I had a little glass of apple cider vinegar and water. I've been doing this lately, one, because of the metabolic benefit and the way that it impacts blood sugar, but also because because it can help to stimulate appetite and help with digestion. And I just find that my appetite is a lot lower on days when I'm sick. So I just had some apple cider vinegar mixed in water before my meal. And then for my main meal, I just mashed up some soft boiled eggs. These ones were a little bit softer. I should have cooked them for maybe another 30 seconds. They were a little bit soupy, but that's okay. I just mashed them with some salt and parsley. And then I also added some leftover sweet potato. You guys know I love leftover sweet potato. It's so easy. It's a resistant starch, great for blood sugar, great for the gut microbiome. I also added some sprouts, and this was just an amazing, quick, yummy, delicious breakfast. And I just mix it all up together. Sometimes I'll also add some avocado, but yeah, just a very nutrient dense way to start the day. And then something I'll usually start as soon as I start to feel a tickle in my throat or I feel like I'm starting to get sick is something like an immune tincture. It just has some herbs in it that can help to strengthen and support the immune system. And I love using natural remedies like this, but there are also times that I will end up using over-the-counter decongestants or something like that. I am someone who definitely uses a mix of natural and naturopathic medicine and conventional medicine. And when I do end up using an over-the-counter medication, I'm just making sure that I'm supporting my liver. I'm doing things to replenish glutathione because those medications can deplete glutathione. So I might up my dose of N-acetylcysteine. I usually do this anyway when I'm sick because not only does N-acetylcysteine help to replenish glutathione, but it also helps to break up mucus. So especially if I have a more congestive mucousy cough, I'll usually, use something like that. And then of course, I just took my normal supplements that I take on a regular basis. Luckily, this day I was working from home, so I just had a few meetings at home. About halfway through the morning, I wanted a warm drink, but I didn't want to make a coffee. I just find that when I'm sick and I'm already dehydrated, I don't always want a coffee, so I decided to make a little hot chocolate instead. But I got a new frother and I frothed my milk and it got so foamy. There was just so much foam. So I had to get a bigger mug, but I transferred my foam in there and it was just really nice to sip on. And then I also had some of these lozenges. They just have, again, some herbs in them that can help to calm and soothe the throat. And then of course I wanted to stay just very well hydrated throughout the day, so I decided to make a tea. I'm very lucky, and the week before I had made a tea at work. I have access to a bunch of really high quality loose leaf teas, so I can make my own blend, and I will usually make a custom blend that includes both herbs that I want the medicinal properties for and that I also like the taste of. I try and get a nice balance between having it be really beneficial for my body and actually something that I'll really enjoy the taste of. I can't exactly remember what I put in this, but I think it had some licorice, hibiscus, nettle. I think I also put some ashwagandha, some oat straw. So definitely some nice adaptogens, definitely some nice antioxidants, anti-inflammatory herbs. And when you're steeping herbs for medicinal properties, you really have to make sure that you steep them long enough, at least 10 to 15 minutes. But what I will usually do is just make a liter of my tea. I'll let it sit on my counter until it cools off, and then I'll strain it and I'll basically just drink it like water. I can drink a lot of it throughout the day. In the summer, it's really refreshing. So yeah, that is just a way that I get more herbs into me. Now, moving on to lunch. Again, I wanted something really simple. I do not like to cook a lot when I'm sick, so I'm not gonna be here making a big batch of soup. Instead, I just grabbed some frozen broccoli. I always make my frozen broccoli the same way. I'll roast it in the oven for about 20 minutes, let it dry out, and then I'll season it with avocado oil, garlic powder, and salt. I'll give it a good toss, and then I figured while I had my oven on, I might as well throw in some leftover sweet potato. I also had some leftover tofu, so I just popped that in the oven. And then an alternative that I sometimes use if I don't want to use apple cider vinegar and I want to help support my appetite, sometimes I'll also use bitters. I feel like I'm using a lot of herbs today. Really, I'm just pulling out all the stops, giving my body all the support it needs while I'm sick. But back to the food. By that time, my broccoli was ready to go. I put that in a bowl with some of the sweet potatoes and the tofu. I also added some sauerkraut. I do like to have at least some fermented food every day. And then of course, I topped it off with some tahini. You guys know I absolutely love tahini. So I drizzled some of that on top, but of course I added more as I went. But yeah, that was my lunch. Just very simple, very nourishing. moving on to dinner, again, I wanted something really, really easy. I had some chickpea pasta in my pantry. I'm not the biggest fan of the texture of this stuff. Also, I got distracted and my pasta boiled over, but back to what I was saying, I'm not the biggest fan. I just don't think that it has a very nice texture, but I do appreciate it because it's easy to cook and it has a good amount of protein. So on a day that I don't really want to make up a separate protein, it's just very easy. I always rinse mine kind of for two reasons. One, I find that it helps it not clump together. I just find that any kind of brown rice pasta or chickpea pasta will stick together really easily. And then two, because I rinse it under cold water so it cools down, it becomes a resistant starch. You guys know how much I love resistant starches. And I always get asked, if you heat it up again, is it still a resistant starch? And yes, it is. So I put it back in the pan. I added some green peas. And then over the weekend, me and my boyfriend made burgers and we made onions and mushrooms to go on top of our burgers. And I still had some left over in the fridge, so I decided to chuck those in as well. And then I had the tiniest little bit of salmon. I don't even know why I saved this little bit, or I didn't just eat it when I ate the rest of the leftovers. But anyway, figured there was already tons of protein in the pasta, but I added the salmon anyway. I also had this pesto that we got from Italy, so I added that. And then I threw in some nutritional yeast for some B vitamins and some cheesy flavor. And yeah, that was my dinner. It ended up, because I added so much stuff to it, it actually ended up making quite a bit. But I had the bowl and then I finished the rest of the leftovers that were in the pot as well. I had another cup of tea after this, but I forgot to film it, and then I just relaxed and got an early night to bed. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're looking for more meal ideas, definitely check out my other videos. I have tons of what I eat in a week, but as always, I hope you got some meal ideas, some inspiration, some knowledge out of the video. If you did enjoy the video, please remember to give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments. As always, I am here to support you on your health journey, whatever that looks like for you, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!